Please stay in place. No. Okay. Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been a few months actually. So I am back in Europe. I left Canada, sadly. I already miss it, but it's been nice being back here. I'm back home. So I'm back with a haul today. I miss my dog interrupting my videos. So I bought some new books this month and I wanted to share them. Also, it's raining outside, so if you can hear that, sorry, but then again, the sound of rain is super relaxing and, you know, soothing in my opinion, so you're welcome. Okay, but without further ado, let's get into the books that I bought. I bought 7 books. I'm gonna start in like no particular order, but first we have Judith Butler's Gender Trouble. This is a classic, an iconic feminist book. The title kind of says it all, but this is about gender, and I've never read anything written by Judith Butler, but I heard great things and I've seen quotes of hers that I loved, and so I couldn't wait to read this one specifically. And I need to film my top 24 books of 2024 because I haven't yet, but this is one of them. Spoiler alert. I just really want to read it. I'm super interested in learning more about gender, and like specifically from someone who's a lot more intelligent than me, and I'm sure like she's gonna have a lot of brilliant points to make when it comes to like gender and how it's not a binary and how a lot of it is performative, and just, yeah, I really want to learn more about gender. So this is one of the books that I bought because I didn't have it and I really wanted to read it, obviously. And I feel like this is one of those books that like I'm gonna have to read slowly because I really want to take in what she's talking about. You know, it's gonna need some time. I feel like one of my regrets from last year was reading a lot of feminist books as audiobooks, which I loved, but at the same time, like, you don't remember the details as much, you don't remember the points as much, and like I feel like as I was listening to those books I was like, yes, exactly, you know, like so many great points, and then afterwards, even when I wanted to talk about it with my friends, like I couldn't recall a lot of the information. And so a lot of those books I definitely will be rereading, but yeah. So this one I wanted to get a physical copy so that I can annotate and make some notes. Yeah, I'm super excited, and it's not that big. I don't know when I will be reading it because I'll actually be leaving in just a few days and I'll be away for a month. So I'll probably read this when I'm back. I don't think I'll be bringing it with me, but yeah, because I'm going to Italy and I really want to buy more Italian books because I need to read more in Italian. So yeah, that's one. And then, oh, I guess I'm just gonna spoil a lot of my top 24 books, but here's another one. All the Lovers in the Night by Miko Kawakami, and she's one of my favorite authors of all time. I have read Breasts and Eggs, which I liked. I gave it 4 stars. And I've read Heaven, which I loved. That's one of my all-time favorites, and I gave that one 5 stars. So I'm really excited for this one. I'm hoping it's gonna be 5 stars as well. And I don't know if this is her most recent book or if it was just translated most recently. First published 2022, but it came out in 2011. So yeah, I think it might be her most recently translated. I don't know if she's written newer books since. I think maybe she has, I don't know. But I love Miko Kawakami and I loved her writing style. So yeah, I don't really know what this is about and I don't really care because I'm gonna read anything by her. Fuyuku is a freelance proofreader in her 30s. Living alone and unable to form meaningful relationships, she has little contact with anyone other than her colleagues. But a chance encounter with a man named Mitsutsuka awakens something new in her. As Fuyuku starts to see the world in a different light, painful memories from her past begin to resurface. Fuyuku needs to be loved, to be heard, and to be seen. But living in a small world of her own making, will she find the strength to bring down the walls that surround her? Pulsing and poetic, modern and shocking, this is an unforgettable novel from Japan's most exciting writer. Damn, I feel like this is gonna hit close to home for me. So I'm really interested in reading it, and like I said, this is one of my top 24 books to read this year, so I'm hoping it's gonna be a 5-star. And then this is a book that I've been interested in for a few years, Milk Teeth by Jessica Andrews. And originally it was published with a different cover, and I think you can still buy that edition. And honestly, I love that cover. I was really torn between which one to get, because that cover, like every time I would see it, I was just in love, and like just looking at the cover made me want to read the book. So honestly, I always forget what this book is about because I just wanted to read it purely because of the cover. And I have heard someone, don't know who, but I've heard someone talking about it, and I'm pretty sure they loved it, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Both covers though, this one is also so gorgeous. I love this kind of cover where it's like very simplistic and like minimalistic. It's just a photo and the title. Love it. So yeah, I'm really excited to read it. I don't know. It's also kind of floppy, which I love. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of giving me summer vibes. And I think, yes, it's set in London and Paris, I think. So a girl grows up in the northeast of England amid scarcity, fearing her own desires and feeling undeserving of love. Years later, living in tiny rented rooms and working in noisy bars across London and Paris, she meets someone who offers her a new way to experience the world. But when he invites her to join him in Barcelona, the promise of care makes her uneasy. In the shimmering Mediterranean heat, she is faced with both pleasure and shame and must find out if she is able to change. So this is giving me summer vibes, so I think I'll probably be reading this in the summer. Barcelona, I've been there before, and it's such a beautiful city, so I'm really curious to see if we're gonna see just her being in Barcelona or if we're also seeing her in London and Paris. But either way, super exciting. Also, since I was away in Canada for a year, I actually really missed Europe, so I love the idea of reading more about Europe. I don't know, I just really missed European cities. Another book that I kind of bought because of the cover is To Be Devoured by Sarah Tetlinger, and this is a horror book. I think it's supposed to be like a very extreme kind of horror, which I love. I love new French extreme horror movies. They tend to be some of my favorites. I haven't had a lot of luck when it comes to books, specifically extreme horror books. I feel like, I mean, I haven't read that many. I can only think of one off the top of my head, and it was okay, but it wasn't really my favorite. I don't know if it's because I had higher expectations, because honestly, I am used to, like I said, like I watch a lot of horror movies and I watch a lot of like extreme horror movies, so whenever I hear people talking about like, oh, this is an extreme horror book, like I'm really expecting a lot, and then I usually end up kind of disappointed. I don't know. I don't like horror just for the sake of horror. I do like when the horror elements have some sort of meaning. Maybe they're kind of used as like a metaphor for something, like, you know, a mental disorder or like trauma or whatever. Like, I don't know. I like a deeper, meaningful reason as to why there's, you know, horror tropes being used and whatnot. But I don't know, I heard great things about this one, and when I saw the cover, I just had to get it because it's so gorgeous. Like, this is the cover of my dreams. It's so gothic looking. I don't think it's a gothic book, but I think there's vultures involved. There are, like, the front page has the vultures in here, and there's also, like, at the end, and then in some of the chapters there's this little, like, drawing of vultures, and I think there's cannibalism in this one, so trigger warnings. But I might be recalling it wrong, I don't know. But it's super tiny, so I'm kind of hoping to read it before I leave. That would be fun, but we'll see. We shall see. But if not now, then I'll probably read it when I'm back, or maybe I might save it for October, but I don't know. I mean, to be fair, since it's so small, I feel like it could be a good book to read in October, since it's Halloween season and everything, but we shall see. We're down to the last 3 books. So then I have a comic, Pookie Volume 3, and this is by Miriam Bonastre. So you can't see them. No, they're over there. No, they're covered by the chair. But I first read Pookie. This is a webtoon original. Well, it was originally published on Webtoon. So you can read it for free. I'm pretty sure it's still on Webtoon. But yeah, that's where I first read it. I finished it like years ago. And then I think in 2020 or 2021, I saw that they published the first volume, so I bought it. And then later on, the second one was published, so I got that one. And then finally, this is the 3rd and final volume. So obviously I had to get it. I really want to reread it because I haven't actually read them in the published format. I've only ever read them on YouTube, on Webtoon. So I'm excited to read it in, you know, like holding the paperback. And it is all like in color, so that's just so pretty. I was kind of shocked when I first went through it. I was like, oh, why is it all in color? Like, because I'm so used to mangas, so, you know, I thought it would be black and white, but that is not the case. But it is a beautiful story. It's very wholesome, but also it does have a lot of like tougher topics, and like, you know, there's some mental crises going on, identity crises, and just feeling lost, feeling depressed. But the story is about these 2 twin siblings. Here they're actually grown up, but in the beginning of the story, I think they're like 13, maybe 14. And they are setting off from home. They're both witches. They're setting off from home to go to this like academy for witches, but basically they arrive late to the pickup spot where the bus was supposed to, you know, pick them up to drive them to this like magical school. And so because of that, they can't go to the academy. So instead, they decide that they can't go back home, because if they do, they're probably not going to be able to go to school or something like that. I can't remember why. But so they end up deciding to just go and find a wizard that will take them under his or her wing to teach them, you know, magic and all of that. So they just kind of go MIA, and I think they tell their parents that they're at school, but, you know, they're obviously not or something. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I read it. But then basically they go to this small village, and it's a human village. And by the way, in this world, witches and humans, they don't really coexist, because witches are hunted down. And so, also side note, they've always been exposed to really like scary stories about humans. So when they first go to this human village, they're kind of scared because they don't know what to expect. But then they actually end up making a lot of friends along the way, and there's this beautiful like found family trope, and like the group of friends is just so cute. And yeah, and then there's like a lot of adventures that they go on, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's just really cute. I love the story at the time when I read it, and I'm sure I'll still love it now. So eventually I will reread it again. I don't know, probably when I'm back, but I've been wanting to reread this for a couple of years now, so now that I have the final volume, there's no excuse. I need to read it. For my second to last book, I bought Waiting for My Life by Linda Pastan. This is a poetry collection. It's really, really short. I got this because I saw a poem or a quote. I think it was a whole poem. I can't remember. But I saw a poem on Tumblr, of course, and I just loved it. I love the writing. So when I saw it, I was like, might as well get it. I don't know when this was actually published. When was this published? Let's see. 1981. Wow. Well, I didn't know that it was that old, but I remember like just really loving the poem. If I can find the screenshot, I might have taken a screenshot, so if I find it, I'll put it up. But if I don't, yeah, it was just beautiful writing, and so I was interested in reading her poems because I love poetry, and I'm always looking for new poets to obsess over. So let me just read what it says on the back. This remarkable new collection of poems is a sure affirmation of the fact that, as one critic has written, Linda Pastan has quietly become one of our leading poets. Another critic noted of her first volume that she, in large measure, fulfilled Emerson's dream, the revelation of the miraculous in the common. She has continued to share this sense of revelation ever more broadly and deeply from book to book with her readers, for as May Sarton has said, it is above all her integrity that has made Linda Pastan such a rewarding poet. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. So that's that. And then this is probably one of the most exciting books that I picked up. Peach Pit by Molly Llewellyn and Crystal Buckley. They are the editors. But this is a collection of 16 stories, and it says 16 stories of unsavory women. And I think it's all stories by women authors, so it's 16 authors. Each author has, you know, written one story, and I can't wait to read this. It's just, first off, the cover, like the moment I saw it, I knew I had to get this book, but then the fact that it's literally about unsavory women, yes, please. I literally eat that shit up. Like, I love stories about women. I love stories about unlikable women. This is right up my alley. Did I just drop my pillow? Yes, I did. Okay. It just sounds amazing. And there's some authors on here that I've already read from and loved. There's some authors that I've heard of and I've been wanting to read. And there's some that I've never heard of, but I'm excited to read. And who knows, maybe I'll end up finding some new favorite authors. So I'll just read what it says on the back. A middle-aged black woman exacts revenge on the aggressively average men she meets on dating sites. A girl buries pieces of herself in a hole beneath an apple tree, hoping to escape her mother's life of struggle and servitude. A group of teenage girls compete for the title of Worst Girl in America. A young woman in Taiwan becomes infatuated with a female scam caller, a fleeting ghost of a love that blossoms from strangeness. And a wealthy woman goes to unconventional and perhaps not entirely ethical lengths to find her dream man. In these 16 stories, we see women at their most monstrous, as con artists and murderers, cutthroats and scalpers, ruled by ambition and grief and spite. I love that. Characters for those tired of being told to play nice. Absolutely. Dressed to the nines in morally grey. Yes. The stories in this anthology comprise an envelope full of teeth, each one distinct, unsettling, and sharp enough to rip out a throat. That sounds so fucking good, honestly. I am so excited. The cover is so beautiful. I'm gonna cry if I don't love this. Yeah, I don't see how I wouldn't love it, but I can definitely see how there will be some stories that I'll love more than others, so fingers crossed that I love most of them. But yeah, these were all the books that I bought in February. Well, all the physical books. I also bought a Kindle book, 13 Months of Sunrise by Rania Mamoun, I think that's her name. And she's a Sudanese author, and that was also like a feminist book. I've read it already for Blackathon, and oh my god, I fucking loved it. 5 stars out of 5, like literally it was so good. And I'm so happy because I don't think I would have really like gone out of my way to look for Sudanese authors if it wasn't for Blackathon, because that was one of the prompts. And yeah, I really loved it. I really want to read more from this author. And that was a collection of stories, by the way, so I highly recommend it. It's like 73 pages, so a super quick and easy read, and it was beautiful. Loved the writing, so many beautiful quotes that I loved. And yeah, honestly, if I can get my hands on a physical copy, I will, but yeah, I got the Kindle one and I highly recommend it. So that's it for my book haul. It wasn't like super big, but you know, still 7-8 books. That's pretty good. And I didn't buy any new books in January, so I was excited to finally get my hands on some books. But I'm really trying to not buy too many books this year because I really want to get through my TBR. But these were worth it. So let me know in the comments if you've read any of these, if you recommend any of these, your thoughts, and yeah, I'll see you in another video, which I don't know when that will be coming, but anyway, peace.